I'm Roberto Quercia. I'm a professor in city and regional planning here at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and I direct a research center called the UNC Center for Community Capital. The UNC Center for Community Capital is a research center. We wanted, and our goal is to become a leading center for research and policy analysis on the transformative power of capital for both households and communities. The center works in three broad areas: affordable housing, economic mobility, and financial inclusion. In the area of affordable housing, for example, we have been doing a study for almost 20 years now, funded by the Ford Foundation, looking at the low-income homeownership lending program. We were able to collect a data set over almost a dozen years that captured the fortunes of low-income families, low-income borrowers before, during, and after the financial crisis. And so we published countless articles and a number of books out of this work. The idea was that to examine whether lending to low-income people in a responsible way can both be profitable for the lender as well as wealth building for the borrower. And the answer is yes. Another example in the affordable housing area is a study we recently did for JP Morgan Chase on the combination of the provision of affordable housing with the provision of financial literacy. And we work with three groups in Chicago, Cleveland, and New York, including the New York Housing Authority, where families receiving a subsidy were also provided financial education. And the hope and the idea is that better informed tenants can become self-sufficiency quicker. In the area of economic mobility, typically we focus on the area of opportunity and trying to understand what makes for better opportunities and lesser opportunities. And a good example of that is a project we just finished for the JP Morgan Chase Foundation, and looking at the opportunity structure in America's neighborhoods. We created this in two big areas. One was a database that we have and we can make available for researchers working with us, that collected indicators, opportunity indicators in every census tract in the country. And so there are obvious things like school quality and crime and house values and tree canopy and things like that. And the idea initially was to develop an index, and then we decided that it was better for that having a number is to have a database that would provide different indicators that could actually be valued differently in different communities. A second part of the study was to see whether these indicators we have collected actually represented the opportunity from the residents in a community. And in consultation with JP Morgan, we selected two communities, one in the Mission District in San Francisco and the other one in New Orleans. And we brought our numbers and our analysis and shared it with the community. In both places, it took a while to get access to the community and the right people and the community leaders. But once we did that, we soon realized that the numbers, the quantitative analysis, only reflected partially what the opportunity structure was perceived, the way it was perceived at the local level. A good example of this is the presence of a hospital that came out in our data set, but maybe at the local level, to get to that hospital, they had to take 3 buses or walk under some dangerous intersection without traffic lights, so it wasn't easily accessible. So I think a lesson of this is for anybody working on indices and opportunity measures and stuff, it is hugely important to see how that community perceived that opportunity structure, not just coming up with some numbers. Another example in the economic mobility area is student loan research we've done. We've done plenty of work. We started a few years ago doing work in historically black colleges and universities. Recently we finished a study for Unidos US, formerly known as La Raza Latino Advocacy Group, looking at the impact of student debt on Latinos and their opportunity after graduation. And we expanded that work recently with a study from MetLife Foundation, looking at other groups and what the impact in these other groups was of student debt. The final area is financial inclusion. And we've done work in the past looking at the impact of payday lending, having emergency funds, tax preparations. Is an area that we are particularly interested in is the financial technology. There is a belief out there that with the right technology, like an app for your phone, you can help low-income families make better financial decisions. And so we did a study looking at what kind of technologies are available out there, what show the most promise or not. And so we would like to do expand our work in that area going forward. We are at a point where we are starting a research agenda on manufactured housing. As you probably know, the manufactured housing is a key component in the affordable housing stock in many states, North Carolina included. And there's not a lot of research that has been done in this area, especially on the financial side of it. And so we are engaged in a project for Freddie Mac, looking at financial issues related to manufactured housing. We would like to expand this area with more work and eventually become a go-to place for people interested in the financial aspect of manufactured housing from a kind of a consumer and lending perspective.